Hello and welcome students to the Das Kadam series where I take up the previous year's CTET question papers and we attempt 10 questions at a time. You not only get the answers but also the explanations to those questions. The entire set of questions for this series, that is 1 to 10, 11 to 20 and 21 to 30, have been given in the description below. Today we are taking up CDP Practice Set 1, questions 1 to 10. This is based on CTET Paper 1 administered on the 11th of January 2022. Let's begin. So question 1. Assertion. A child's developmental progress can be accurately measured by comparing her rate of development with other children of the same age. That's a typo. Reason. Pattern and rate of development of children is uniform and remain same for all children across cultures. Choose the correct option. Both A and R are true and R is the correct explanation of A. Both A and R are true but R is not the correct explanation of A. A is true but R is false. Both A and R are false. So these are the assertion and reason type of questions. The trick here is to figure out whether the assertions and the reasons are true. Only if they are true do we go on to the other explanation, whether R is the explanation for A. So a child's developmental progress can be accurately measured by comparing her rate of development with other children of the same age. No, it can be approximately measured. Accurately, you may not be able to measure that. So this assertion is false. Patterns and rate of development of children is uniform and remains the same for children across all cultures. This is a totally false statement. So since both A and R are false, we have option 4 as the answer. Question number 2. A child learns to hop and jump before learning to play football. Which principle of development does this illustrate? Cephalocaudal, proximodistal, reversibility, or equilibrium? The answer is proximodistal. So if you remember, the cephalocaudal principle is when the head develops first and then the toes. So development takes place from head to toe. Here we are talking about hopping and jumping and playing football. Both are to do with the legs. So we will be talking about proximodistal, which means that you learn the gross motor skills first and then the finer motor skills. Question number 3. Which of the following statement about development is not correct? 1. Development is a product of heredity and environment. Development is somewhat predictable. Rate of development is uniform and universal. And development proceeds from general to specific. So the correct answer is 3. Rate of development is uniform and universal is not correct. All the others are correct options. Question number 4. Another assertion and reason. Assertion. Children pick up ways of behaving appropriately as per their culture from their friends, media, and various other sources. Reason. Socialization is a complex process that takes place through various formal and informal means. Choose the correct option. Both A and R are true and R is the correct explanation of A. Both A and R are true but R is not the correct explanation of A. A is true but R is false and both A and R are false. So let's look back at the question. We will look at the questions and see whether these are true or not. Children pick up ways of behaving appropriately as per their culture from the friends, media, and other sources. This is a true statement. And socialization is a complex process that takes place through various formal and informal means. This is also a correct option. So we have to now choose between options 1 and 2. So is R the correct explanation for A or is R not the correct explanation for A? So since it's talking about friends, media, and various other sources, and about behaving appropriately, it seems that R is the correct explanation of A. So option 1 will be the correct answer for this question. Question number 5. For children who are in concrete operational stage, teachers should 1. Give a lot of practice to deal with abstract concepts. 2. Provide opportunities to classify objects and ideas on increasingly complex levels. 3. Present problems that require higher order abstract thinking. And 4. Give problems that require logical and scientific thinking. So this relates to Piaget's theory of cognitive development, and there are 4 stages in Piaget's theory. We have the sensory motor stage, the pre-operational stage, the concrete operational stage, and the formal operational stage. So children in the concrete operational stage, they can already do logical reasoning. This is the children between the age of 7 to 11 years of uh, age, but they cannot abstractly think. They can only think operationally through concrete objects. So the first option, giving a lot of practice with abstract concepts, is incorrect out here. Third option is requires higher order abstract thinking, will be incorrect, and giving them problems that require logical and scientific thinking is a little less for their stage because they can already do this. Therefore, option number 2, provide opportunities to classify objects and ideas on increasingly complex levels, is the correct answer. Let's move on to question number 6, another one from Piaget's theory. So according to Piaget's theory, at which stage of cognitive development does the child understand that symbols can be used to represent objects? That is, the word bicycle will generate an image even when absent. The options are pre-conventional stage, pre-operational stage, concrete operational stage, and formal operational stage. So let's look at the answers. This is again Piaget's theory of cognitive development, and you have to remember what are the things that a child can do at the 4 stages. The option out here, the first option, pre-conventional stage, refers to Kohlberg's theory, so this will be wrong right away. We have 3 from Piaget's developmental we have 3 options from Piaget. We have the pre-operational stage, the concrete operational stage, and the formal operational stage. So the pre-operational stage is the correct answer because by this time, that is from it, that is between the age of 2 and 7, the child is able to internalize, it can understand that certain words represent certain images or certain concrete ideas, and they can internalize these images. So the correct answer to this is 2, pre-operational stage. Question 7. Arnav struggles with the addition of 3-digit numbers on his own but is able to do with the support of teacher. In Lev Vygotsky's theory, this highlights the zone of proximal development, reinforcement, maturation, or symbolism. So the answer is the first, zone of proximal development, ZPD. And this is exactly what Vygotsky's theory says, that when a child is able to do because of help from his peers, so the teacher is not teaching or not doing the work for the child, but giving him a lot of support and adding to his schema so that Arnav is able to do the work himself. So this difference of how much you can do by yourself and how much you can do with help from peers or teachers is what he calls the zone of proximal development, ZPD. Question number 8, according to Vygotsky, learning is an active process of constructing knowledge, a passive process of reception of knowledge, a function of drill and practice, a function of stimulus response association. So the correct option will be A. Vygotsky's theory talks about knowledge being actively processed. It is not a passive process. It is not drill and practice, which means that you're drilling something, a lot of repetition happening, and stimulus response, it does not believe in. So Vygotsky's theory of social development talks about knowledge being actively constructed by the learner. Question number 9. Ashna does good because she would like to be seen as good by other people. At which stage of moral development is she, according to Lawrence Kohlberg? The options are pre-conventional, conventional, post-conventional, and formal operational. So when we're looking at the options, we'll immediately remove formal operational because that is a part of Piaget's theory and not Kohlberg's theory. And when you're learning Kohlberg's theory, you must learn it in two different ways. First is you learn the three broad levels, which is pre-conventional, conventional, and post-conventional, and then learn the two sub-levels between each. Now, the broadly, when in the pre-conventional stage, which has two sub-levels under it, obedience and punishment, and individualism and exchange, the main factor is punishment. A child does not want to be punished, and therefore all the actions are, or all moral decisions are taken according to that one punishment. In the conventional stage, the child wants to be social and want to be seen good, so that also moves through two sub stages: the good boy good girl, where you want to be seen good by other people, and the fourth stage, or the second sub level, is where the child wants proper law and order in the society. After this, where Kohlberg himself says that most people do not reach, is the post-conventional stage, where we are talking about individual rights as opposed to the social good. So you realize that people might be doing something individually which is not in coherence with the society. And the final stage is of universal ethics and principles. So if we look at the question, Ashna wants to be seen as good by other people. She is in the conventional stage. This question could also have been given as the sub level, at the sub level, saying that either it's a good boy, good girl, or law and order, or obedience and punishment. So there the answer would have been good boy, good girl stage. The final question for this video is question number 10. In progressive education, learning has a social character. Textbooks are the only source of knowledge. Seating arrangement is totally fixed. Curriculum is standardized. The answer is 1. So when we are looking at progressive education or education under NEP 2020 or learner-centered education, the question could have been asked in any way. Textbooks are not the only source of knowledge. Seating arrangement is not fixed, and curriculum is not standardized. So, and learning is social in character. So the answer is